Hello and welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. Very good series against the Mets. Yes, second weekend in a row, you got a team from New York in Camden Yards. Celebrated the anniversary of the '83 World Series team, and just because all those guys were in the house, decided to sweep the Mets right out of Camden Yards. Very nice. Though, the Mets had very good roster as the season started, but injuries and other things, the Mets were sellers at the trade deadline. So, a few of their starting outfielders and starting pitchers were elsewhere. So, it is kind of picking on the little guy, but got to get them wins. Postseason is right around the corner, and we want good seeding. As you can see, I'm on massinsports.com. Let's get to the first box score. Friday night. Yes, I was at this game too. No, Mets fans are not as bad as Yankees fans. Orioles won this one 10-3. As you can see, it was relatively low scoring for most of the game. Then the Orioles really broke it open in the 6th and 7th inning. Adley Rutschman, lead off again. Seems to be doing fairly well there. I don't know that he's hitting as well as we would want him to, but he is the catcher and he's getting, beat up. And as you can see, DH, so he has been DHing a lot more, which is really good for two reasons. One, you get Rutschman more rest, or I guess some rest, because it's not like he's doing nothing. And you get McCann in there more. More McCann, that means he's more, like I've said, keeping your edge sharp. The more you're on the bench, the less you're keeping your edge sharp. Rutschman did have an offer, though he did have an RBI and a walk. I believe it was on a fielder's choice. Not sure. I think he beat out a double play. Could be wrong. I might be wrong on that one. Mountcastle 1 for 5, no RBIs. Henderson 2 for 5, no RBIs. Hayes 1 for 4, no RBIs. Well, they're all getting driven in by guys further down in the lineup. Look at this. Joey Westberg. Or is it Jordan Westberg? What is his first name? It's Jordan Westberg. Jordan Westberg, not Joey. Why I'm calling him Joey Westberg. Jordan Westberg. 2 for 3 with 2 walks. 3 RBIs. One of them was a home run. Second home run for Jordan Westberg. O'Hearn. We do have more infielders on the roster than outfielders. I think the theory with that is most infielders can go to the outfield and play a corner outfield position. But that isn't necessarily true with an outfielder. Potentially, I guess. O'Hearn, he looks okay out there. He's not, he's not an Aaron Hicks or a Mullins or Hayes or anybody, but he does serve the position well. And he drove in a run, so he's still hitting. Orioles have been seeing a lot of lefties. That's why you see Mountcastle move further up and O'Hearn further down. Cowser did come in later in the game for O'Hearn because, Cowser's a little faster. That's right. I remember that. I don't know who this umpire is, and I wanted to look it up, but there was a point where, O'Hearn gets on first base. Brandon Hyde wants to have pinch runner Colton Cowser in there. One, he's faster on a base pass. Two, he will end up going into right field for, better defense. Brandon Hyde was standing there with his hands up trying to get an umpire's attention for, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. All 4 umpires didn't see anything. So, of course, there was lots of yelling at umpires. And what I didn't really like, a lot of umpire yelling back at the dugout. Like, nobody's here to see you. The 4 of you ignored a manager wanting to make a base running change. For how long? Yes, you're going to get a lot of chirping at you. Stop chirping back. Nobody's here to see you. You are here to officiate a baseball game. That's it. I don't want to see nothing out of you. Because as much as you want to yell and throw managers out of the game, you should not be yelling back at players and managers until we're allowed to throw you out of the game for doing it too much. However, Urias, nice to see Urias hitting more. He is getting more playing time. Partly that is because Mateo is getting less playing time. More on that later. 2 for 4. James McCann had a nice game. Very nice game. 3 for 3 with a walk. 5 runs driven in. McKenna is getting more playing time. He's not always coming through, though he is hitting at the bottom of the lineup. So Henderson 2 doubles, McCann a double. Let's take a look at these stolen bases. McKenna stole a base, O'Hearn stole a base, McCann, that's right. James McCann, the backup catcher, stole a base. Stole 3rd, actually. Yes, it's very exciting. And it's nice to see players being aggressive. Make the defense get you out instead of just, going with it. Push the envelope a little bit and you can maybe get more offense. In my opinion, James McCann slides awkwardly. It does look like he's going to hurt himself. And no, I really don't want my backup catcher hurting himself. Because I want Rutschman to have days off. You bring up your 3rd string catcher down in minor leagues, you're going to lose a lot more if you want to give Rutschman time off. But it does seem at this point that McCann is being smart about it. So there's that. I mean, he's a veteran, so. And it's his former team. McCann did spend some time with Mets, so he wanted to, show him that trading up for the younger guy wasn't the greatest move. But you're on a better team now, so why would you be mad? Dean Kramer got the start in this one. Sadly, he was only able to go 5 1/3. His pitch count was getting up there. It was high 80s, I think. Don't remember, actually. 87. So, yeah, high 80s. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, struck out 4. You would like to see him get through the game longer, but you also know that this isn't the guy to push the envelope with, especially with his arm, because you will want him later. So let's get Mike Baumann in there. King Vulture. 9 wins. He's got 9 wins now. He got his 9th win Friday night. Pitched 1 2/3 inning. No hits, no runs, no walks. No strikeouts. But all 0s is okay. Cole Irvin came in after Baumann. Pitched 1 inning. Gave up 1 hit and 1 run. Cowser made a throwing error. Trying to remember. No, I can't remember what the error was. Really can't. Irvin struck out too. So Irvin still is having success out of the bullpen. Fujinami pitched the 9th inning. Did give up a hit. but didn't give up a run, a walk, and didn't strike out anybody. He did seem to have better control of his pitches. Now, I meant to talk about this last show, but I forgot. I want to say maybe 2 weeks, with about 10 appearances, I think. So 2 to 3 weeks before the Orioles traded for Fujinami, he was taken out of Oakland's rotation and put into the bullpen. So he was I guess depending on how you look at it, more recent starter then changed to a reliever. So the way you warm up to come in a game is a lot different. If you're a starter, you have, be on the mound at 7:05, ready to pitch. Okay, well, before that, very little obligations other than getting yourself ready. So you have a while. When you're in the bullpen, you get, you ain't got that much time. So is there something to that? Maybe he needs another 5 more minutes in the bullpen. Potentially. It does seem like this game was fairly low maintenance as a manager, right? Yes, you had to make your switch here in the middle of the inning, but after that, you could be like, oh, I want this guy for the 8th inning and this guy for the 9th inning. Make it happen out there. So therefore, Fujinami can get ready a little early because he knows when he's going to come in. Maybe. It's a possibility. All right, let's go to Saturday's game. More runs being scored now. 7-3, Orioles winning again. Yeah, none of these were really pitchers' duels. Lots of offense. Rutschman doing a little more hitting and catching in Saturday's game. 2 for 5 with an RBI. Henderson, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. Santander, 2 for 5, 1 RBI. O'Hearn, another day in right field. 2 for 4, 1 RBI. As you can see, Mateo. Get to that when I get more of the defense. Mountcastle, 1 for 3. Did walk once. Westberg, 1 for 4. So, couldn't back up that good performance on Friday. But at least he did get hit. Cowser, 1 for 3. Urias, 1 for 4, 1 RBI. McKenna, 1 for 4, 1 RBI. As you can see, McKenna started in center and then moved to right because Jorge Mateo, in an effort to, one, get Mateo in the lineup more, and we are getting a little thin in the outfield. Mullins down, Hicks down. Santander can't play every day in the outfield. Not that many people can. Hayes, because of that turf in Toronto and that Superman-style catch, a little dinged up. Nothing too serious from what I've heard, but it's worth getting him off his feet for a bit. So Mateo has had experience in the outfield. This is not like you're just taking a shortstop and putting him in the outfield because he's really fast. He has experience, not much, but he has played the outfield before. He looks okay out there. I mean, he's so fast, even if he doesn't read it right, he's got makeup speed. Santander, McKenna, Urias, Rutschman, Westberg, doubles. Lots of doubles. Santander, Henderson, home run. Santander was his 20th. Henderson was his 19th. Cowser stole a base. So hopefully we're getting into more of these stolen bases. Gibson on the mound. 11th win. Pitched 7 innings. Gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk. Struck out 9. He said he said in post game interviews before, it's like he's not a big strikeout guy, but he's getting lots of strikeouts. One, I think, is he's commanding his pitches in the zone very well. Mixed pitches, change speeds, have very good command, and you can get your strikeouts. Coulomb got the 8th inning, gave up 2 hits. Not great, but didn't allow him to score. Cano. Got the 9th inning here. And yeah, he did give up a hit, but he struck out 2. So, and there is an article I'll call your attention to, but it's tough to say why he was struggling. A little bit of overuse, a little bit of trying to mix in that slider. But it looks like he's turning a corner on that. Like, you start to try to mix in a slider, well, you're not as good at it because you have less experience. You gain more experience, you start to get better at it. Fairly simple. So it seems like he can be relied a lot more than like month 1, closer to, not month 1, the past month, closer to how much you can rely on him like the first 2 months of the season. All right, let's go to the last game. Okay, maybe this was a little bit more of a pitcher's duel. Very low scoring game compared to the other 2. They did talk about some of the mistakes fielding. They had a drawn in. Mets drew the infield in because Mateo was on third. And the way the third baseman, who was Vientos, the way he fielded it was a little weird. He didn't field it square. He tried to turn his body a little bit and backhand the ball. Did not field it cleanly, and therefore was not able to throw Mateo out. But let's face it, even if you square to the ball and you drop your glove straight to the ground and try to field it, are you even going to throw Mateo out? The guy's so fast. So yes, it may have been an improper fielding technique, but would the proper fielding technique have gotten you the out? With Mateo's speed, it would have been close. So can you really fault the guy for trying to give himself a better chance to throw the guy out? Not really. But I don't know if it's really a mistake or not. The second one was there was another guy, man on third, who ended up scoring. The ball was hit up the middle. Now, because there were runners on, the umpire is just, if you're looking from home plate to second base, the umpire is to the right of second base. Well, where's the ball go? In that general spot. Second baseman fields it and does look like he wants to throw home and try to get a runner, but what's in between the fielder and home plate? The umpire. What I said about bad umpiring here. I don't know why you need to be positioned on the infield grass as an umpire. I assume it's because you need to get a better angle, or you think you need to get on a better angle to be able to make the call at second base. But then you were in between the fielders and home plate. Is that not harder for the fielders to do their job? Yes. Because part of their job is to throw runners out at the plate. Keep runs from scoring. That's like defense. That is a definition of defense. So do you hinder the defense by putting yourself in the infield grass? Yes. In my opinion, yes. Could you not be on the outfield grass? Directly behind second base? You could. When you see a runner coming towards second base, you could just move up. But get yourself out of the play. Not that we really need umpires that close anymore because we have replay. Maybe stop interfering so much with how the game is being played. So yes, really the runs scored were kind of fielding mistakes / put a lot of pressure on the fielding. And, umpires helping us out a little bit. Rutschman had an offer, though he did walk. He had one of the RBIs. Mountcastle, 1 for 4. Santander technically had an offer, even though he walked twice. Henderson, offer. Westberg, 1 for 4. Arias, McKenna, 1 hit apiece in 3 official at-bats. Mateo, 1 for 2. Did get pinch hit for later, as you can see. Mateo was one of the runs that scored because his speed. So you found a way to get the man in the lineup, and you got to run because of his speed is so... They put a graphic up, and he was, as far as 90 feet sprint time or something, whatever. He's like 4th in the league, or something to that effect. Just very good. O'Hearn actually, with the pinch hit, got the other RBI. McCann double, Mateo triple. That's right. That is why Mateo was on third base. Hit a ball straight back up the middle, which is really nice to see because his timing's there at the plate. The center fielder tried to dive and catch the ball. Well, he missed it, and the ball went all the way to the wall. And that's why it was a triple. Why was it not a home run? Well, because Mateo wasn't running that hard out of the box. He kind of thought the center fielder was going to catch it. So, maybe some reason why he hasn't been in the lineup much. Or maybe a reason why you need to get him in more, because he's not 100% invested in the game. It is what it is. The run still scored, I guess. So, Bradish got to start in this one. Didn't go too long, 4 2/3. But you see some of the other games. You got a lot of length out of Bauman and Irvin. And you only need to throw 2 bullpen guys out there on Saturday. So, with an off day Monday, you weren't too upset that you had to pitch a few more guys out of the bullpen. As I said, 4 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, 5 walks. Did get a double play in there. It is what it is, I guess. So, part of why he was taken out, 87 pitches. Pitch count just got up there, which you kind of would expect with 5 walks and 5 strikeouts. So the pitches are working for them. It's not like their pitches aren't working for them. It's just pitch counts are getting elevated. Perez, very nice to see this. Gets credited with the win here, partly because he was on the mound in the 5th inning. 1, because of that, and because that is when the Orioles scored. Starting pitcher has to go 5 innings in order to qualify for the winning pitcher. So Perez finishes out the 5th and pitches the 6th. No hits, no runs, did walk 1, no strikeouts. Which is disappointing, but it works, Cole Irvin got the 7th inning. Nice to see that Cole Irvin can pitch every other day and pitch every other day effectively. Since again, I made this statement with Fujinami, Irvin was a starter and now he's a reliever rather quickly. No hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Fujinami, again, maybe more because the Orioles had the game handled. Easier to decide when Fujinami would go into the game. Goes in for the 8th inning, full inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He actually got more strikeouts yesterday than Felix Bautista. How do you like that? Batista, on for his 30th save. That's right, 30th. Did give up a hit, but that's okay. No runs, no walks, struck out 1. Fujinami throws 100 miles an hour. So does Batista. Very terrible to see that as an opposing offense. Both with nasty splitters to go along with that. Now, both of their at least one of Fujinami's strikeouts and Batista's strikeouts were on 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. That is noteworthy because that doesn't happen often. To have a strikeout in consecutive innings with a pitch over 100 miles an hour. Guys out of bullpen don't just, grow on trees throwing 100 miles an hour. It is something for opposing teams to make note of. You're not going to want to face the Orioles. Okay, as I mentioned, Cano kind of righting himself, getting back to form. Article written by Steve Molesky. This was August 5th, so was that Saturday? Talking about Cano tweaking his pitch mix to get himself back on track. Adding the slider is really what this article is talking about. And I'm not going to go through it. There's not really any reason for me to go through the whole article with you. But it is a conscious effort to add the slider to his mix. Now, is that why his arm slot is dropped a little bit, like I have mentioned the other day? Potentially. Does kind of seem like I'm leaning towards that. Now, I'm not saying that he's not getting tired, but I'm kind of leaning towards more Cano wanting his slider to be more present in his pitch mix, and therefore that little more sidearm action aids the slider more. This is an article written by Rock Kubatko yesterday, Sunday, talking about Mateo's move towards the outfield. 1, to get him more playing time. 2, we do want, more utility type players. Guys that can play more than one position. You're not just stuck in that one spot. And if you're not performing, then you can't be there. Well, where at once Mateo was like that, he's not like that anymore. He's being, read the quote here, he's being a pro about it. He's taking it about as seriously as you really can. You are trying to have fun and play baseball. So, there are other things there. But he's got the speed. He knows he has the speed. And he's done it a little bit before. And he knows the team kind of needs to do it. And it's better than not being on the team. So it does seem like maybe we found another option in the outfield. I kind of like the option more than O'Hearn because he's faster. You're not going to have hitters hit you the ball. You're not going to have hitters hit balls right at outfielders all the time. They're going to have to go chase them. And I'd rather have Mateo going into chasing the ball than O'Hearn. Check the standings out. As you can see, Baltimore Orioles 70-42, leading the AL East by 3 games now. Toronto is 7.5 back. New York Yankees are 12 back. Red Sox are 12.5 back. Damn, I can't chant last place Yankees anymore. It's very disappointing. You can see Rangers and Astros are at 66 and 64 wins, respectively. Braves are the only other team with 70 wins. Now, I think at the time, because the Orioles game ended before the Braves, the Orioles, I think, were the first team to 70 wins. Now we have to share that with the Braves, but it's okay. Doing really good. We got a 625 winning percentage. That's fantastic. Now, will that continue? Tough part of the schedule coming up. I would say the next 3 to 4 series, depending on how you look at it. Got the Houston Astros coming into town on Tuesday and Wednesday, scheduled for 7:05. Thursday's game scheduled for 12:30. Part of that is why this early noontime-ish game on Thursday. Well, the Orioles got to get on a plane and get out to Seattle by 10 o'clock Friday night. So there is that reasoning there why some of these early afternoon games. Get the team's game over with, get them all packed up and heading out of town and getting to their next city a little earlier so that whole jet lag and time zone change doesn't affect them too much. And why I say it is kind of a tough next 4 series. 1, Astros, good team, real good team. Mariners, long West Coast trip in Seattle, then Padres in San Diego, then Athletics in Oakland. Now, again, I said depending on how you look at it because the Athletics are not that good this year. But the Padres are pretty good this year. Go get to see Manny Machado. They also got Soto and Tatis Jr. Padres are playing very well this year. Mariners may not be playing that well, but they do have a shot, and they do have some pretty good young players. So, it could be a very tough road trip. 1, because you're playing good teams, and 2, because, it's a road trip. You're on the West Coast. Way on out there. All right, that is going to do for this edition of Ryno's Orioles Report. Stay tuned for... We'll go with sometime... Thursday afternoon. I really should. Sometime Thursday afternoon for my report on the Houston Astros and Baltimore Orioles 3-game set. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm the Angry Ryno, and this is Birdland.